So you're back on the cave. Oh,
Oh, lost them.
We'll be back with the cameras back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back at the cave, everybody is standing around. You have the plans, you have the information, you have the incendiaries.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the captain sort of leans in and is like, I might be so bold, sir.
What you thinking, Felix?
I'm thinking that it would be if we could coordinate some way of placing all these and sending them up a light, nearby simultaneously. It would be harder for the enemy to put them out.
Right, if they all go off at once.
Or nearly so. Coordinating these things is hard, I know, but I believe that's why they gave you 6 spots instead of just 1 or 2. Well, that's just my take on it. The key is getting in close enough to do it, and then coordinating it. What your man Harmon said about sacrificing the ship. Well, that means we won't have a ride home for a while.
Would be the best outcome.
It would work. It would certainly be destructive if you can get it close enough.
Duncan, what did you think about the defenses that you saw? How likely do you think it is that we could get in, do our task, and get out before they could stop us?
You guys can hear me, right? I just want to make sure because I had a thing happened to my Discord again. So I would probably explain all of what I saw. You have a pretty tight defense. They have a lot of people working in their ship on the docks day and night. It seems well fortified. You have what look like stone defenses near the ports. 7 dry docks in total. Everything, one of them's occupied, so we can't even go in normally anyway. And realistically, if we're going to try and assault them from the front, it's probably not going to work. Our best bet maybe would be sneaking through the sides.
Right, and pull off some sabotage. Again, that is your forte. So
actually, it is not. Well, not that kind of sabotage.
Well, I figured that your forte is not being seen while you go and place a box down, and then we light it a little bit later.
Something like that maybe could be useful, I guess.
Yeah.
More curious though is a couple of other things. Like right near the dry dock, you have silos filled with food, and the Church of Salmer is apparently struggling to feed the people. Something, it's very odd. Like it's organized there, which is interesting, but it's very odd that they're suffering massive food shortages in one respect, and in another, it looks like it's being watched over by some unsavory types.
Well, that's not that odd. They've rationed the food and decided to hold all of it in the church. The fact that the church is complicit with the usurpers' forces, we really should have gotten the endorsement of the church. This could have solved so many problems.
Well, when we get back from them next month, maybe they'll change their mind and pull their support.
But what makes it odd, though, Vesper, is the whole operation on its scale. It's as if nobody is getting any food except from the church at this point. And
right, well, that makes sense. The church is probably the most defensible structure they have. So, and the fact that the people there are committed to charity, the fools, then, it serves a double purpose that way. I'm just disappointed that the church has de facto backed the usurpers' forces.
What do you think, then, of our attempt maybe to steal some of that food and bring it back? Do you think that we have a big enough hold for it? Do you think that we actually have enough arms to carry it?
Well, the problem is you'd have to get the food from there to your boat, which would take several people, during which they would be vulnerable to attack. The only way I think you could actually steal the food from that building my conjecture would be that we would either have to do it somehow completely undetected for several hours, or we would have to take the port.
Question, in this era, the era that we're basing things on, surrounding yourself with civilians basically means nothing, right?
Yeah.
There's no Geneva Convention, but that doesn't mean it's not wrong.
No, they provide soft cover.
Right. I mean, the armor of the innocent isn't like World War II, right, where you don't want to bomb civilian targets. You want to aim for the, and then you put your bomb manufacturing plant surrounded by schools and whatnot to discourage the bombing.
Yeah, that would.
Well, nobody wants to commit an atrocity, no.
But... Right, but I'm just saying it's not so much of a thing in this era.
The usurper is an occupying force. If we surrounded ourselves by citizenry, and the usurper, whose troops presumably are made of local militia, fired upon their own citizenry, they might win this battle, but lose the war because morale is kind of low because, you killed a bunch of us to do this.
We're getting into very dark territory.
Well, I wasn't meaning that he would shoot into his own people. I was more thinking that he's putting innocents out there to discourage the attack that would come upon him so he can finish building his ships and post-haste.
Oh, definitely. I mean, definitely they don't want us, like, if we show up and bomb the whole place and kill everybody, we would lose because it was like, even though we occupied it, it's like that would bolster support for the usurper. Yeah, that's standard wartime tactics.
Yeah. The only other thing that I think we can maybe consider is you said that there are smugglers and other groups that use these islands and work here, right?
This is true, and I believe they are the ones at least responsible for doing the deliveries. And I have no doubt that their loyalties have been purchased for this task.
Perhaps that might be our way in, as well as our way to take some of the food away.
If you think you can safely make contact, see their disposition, make them the offer, and do all of that, whether they accept or reject, without being detected and without them giving you up to the authorities that they're in league with, it seems risky.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
I would definitely be in support of it, and maybe even give you some writ of my own wealth that they could extract at a later time when convenient, specifically towards bribing them.
I would think if you don't have cash in hand to offer them, they're not going to sell out their current employers on credit.
Oh, I actually have this sort of covered, and I take out the jewelry box I stole from the Summer Palace. And I just show them like all the jewels inside.
What's our goal in stealing the food?
It's a secondary objective.
Yeah, but what's the purpose? To starve the local population?
So our people don't starve.
Starve them and feed us.
Right, but it's food given by the church to the innocent, not the...
Well, the food is apparently being stored in the church, if our intel is correct. I could possibly go and make some inquiries about that.
It has silos. It has silos there near the port. And let me clarify. Yeah. The food is coming from Calabria, which is helping the usurper maintain control because he can feed his people and his forces, right? While everyone else is suffering from the effects of the 2 droughts and the rains that have hit the last 3 years, right? So everybody else is running out of low on food and now have to field military forces, while the usurper has his support from Calabria, particularly from food and resources.
Right. What we keep asking is, so the food is being stored in the church. Is that what our intel tells us?
It's in the silos.
Silos.
Before.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been managed, handed it out by church members.
So they take it from the silos and they've pressed the church into giving people to charities. So they're making the church do the work.
Yes.
I'm still disappointed. But
is it possible that we can talk to the local congregation about this?
Well, possibly, but once again, we don't have the endorsement of the Church of Salmer. I'm disappointed, but this food that they've stored here is foreign aid from a power that is attempting to exert control over our country, because this is the Isles. So this is like everything in those silos is forfeit because all of that is support from a foreign power.
Is it possible to create a writ that would say that they need to do something else with the food? Maybe get rid of it or something like that?
Well, if the commoners are starving, you could possibly start a peasant uprising and have the people rise up against the silos and destroy them.
Well, yeah, that's another option. I was thinking more so like, how about we forge a document that was from the church?
But the church doesn't have any authority. The church is being used as a middleman in the scenario.
Well, the church is being used as the middleman, but the church could refuse to be the middleman. And in any event, I think if they refused, they would they just find someone else to help. So I think they've just kind of pressed the church into it. Really, I think what we're more worried about is the fact that we believe that food, that store that is feeding these people, is foreign aid. Because the land itself has been blighted because king is the health of the land, all this pagan nonsense. So stealing the food isn't really going to make us like the locals happy with us. But this is a this is a war base. This is a war base. Stealing the food is our secondary objective. Our primary objective is to remove the offensive capacity from this base. And so to that end, I think we need to do scorched earth.
Right, and as far as completing the secondary objective, it doesn't seem that there's a way we can get the food without ruining the primary objective. Unless we somehow had it all happening at the same time, and seems like nonsense.
I feel like we need to. I think we need to get more information about how we can even get inside that fortress. That dry dock. Because it is pretty locked tight from what I saw.
I'm going to suggest, despite the fact this is contrary to my nature, that there might be more going on in the church's relationship with their as a go-between between here and the foreign power. It would be possible for me to infiltrate the church. I am an agent of what is ostensibly a neutral power.
Right, and they wouldn't even really necessarily know who you are, I don't think. Well, I mean, not in a way that they immediately, turn you over to authorities.
Really,
I doubt...
Oh, go ahead.
Once again, I doubt, because the Salmaire has not endorsed one cause or the other. I doubt the church people would sell me out immediately.
I mean, but there is a delay in information as well. If they're being endorsed by a foreign power, and that foreign power has ties to the church, then your own church could be giving them information that you're not fully aware of at this moment.
Well, that's more intel than we would have that we didn't have before. That is a risk that, while it is possible, it is one I'm willing to take.
Right. I think I'm in agreement that we could pursue this angle. I'm not sure what else we need to do. I think the best course is to do as our previous gunpowder assailants tried, which was to get jobs at the port, use that to sneak Duncan in, and while he is there, he can take the grenades that he has snuck in, put them on the boat, and allow them to do their work. That seems like the most straightforward path. Of course, it puts Duncan at the most risk and leaves most of us watching. However, I think has been said, we can't do a frontal assault.
Does Duncan have night vision?
Yes, I do have night vision.
Okay.
Yeah. Sneaking in at night is also a possibility. Most of us have night vision.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it does get rid of a segment of the population that doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a specific subset that does have it.
Yeah. So a night attack could perhaps at least do something for us. Maybe Duncan can try to sneak us at least close enough. We start a fight, and in the fight, we start the fires.
Oh, I meant more that he would sneak up. That he could rather sneak up, plant explosives, sneak out, and those could be detonated at some future moment. Not that we would have to instigate a nighttime battle.
Right. Well, my assumption is that as soon as something happens and he's spotted, there will probably be a fight or a chase. Or both.
Additionally, if we could find their store of gunpowder and sabotage that.
I am all for Vesper's plan of seeing if he can convince the church. I don't know if any of us can help him. Harmon walking around in full armor and weaponry would be spotted out immediately. I am at least a moderately well-known noble, and trouncing around as a noble or even as the king's men would immediately get me spotted out.
My
people who could pass themselves as clergy. One would be Spencer, and the other would be Duncan.
Well, my armor is I'm gonna use the word here, international. My armor is transported across nations, so...
This is true. However, I mean that you were a strong and intimidating soldier and would not... people would notice.
Well, in theory...
Aren't you well known, Harmon?
There's... While Harmon could possibly pass himself off as a paladin, there's a problem. Harmon does not subscribe to the doctrine of tergiversation. Harmon, what is your faith?
I believe that the land is, You know what my faith is. Yeah, well, the land is the king and the king is the land.
He's failed the first test. If anyone asks him, are you Slamer? He'll say no.
So then I think the best way we can handle it then is Vesper, you will go to talk to them. I will allow you to take the lead. And Duncan, you will try to make sure that Vesper does not get stabbed in the face.
My only concern in this matter is, Vesper, where did you come from? When they show up on the island and no one recognizes you, where did you come from?
Oh, well, it's the church itself is a large monastery. There are pilgrims coming from all the time. I will use the standard excuse and just claim that I'm a Hypodulian doing my research upon the shrine of, let's see, St. Wilgefortis.
There you go. You see, even I believe that, and my eyes are already glazing over. It's perfect.
So, is that actually the saint that's here?
We have the infant skull of Agme the Baptist. I know it's the infant skull, even though Agme lived to the age of 80, but their skull was restored by a miracle. That's why they're a saint.
So again, then, I think I will trust you two, Vesper and Duncan, to go together. Duncan shall be your guard and guide. You will do the convincing, and perhaps that will open up a bigger opportunity. And if you two both fail, I don't think there's any chance I can give you a rescue. It'll be up to Harmon and I, and perhaps some of the crew, to accomplish this plan by brute force and hopefully escape.
Well, we'll just be back. We're just going on an intel gathering operation. Don't worry, you can... All I ask is that you keep your faith alight.
Well, I'm going to cook some fish. That's like faith, I think.
I could have had fish.
Well, hey, would you like some of the salted things they gave me?
Salted things. Salt's one of my favorite food groups after sugar and alcohol.
90% salt, 10% questionably meat.
It's I'm assuming lizard jerky.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm a raccoon. I eat garbage.
I can't say beef jerky because then we're just cannibals. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So two of you together.
I thought it was only a cannibal if you ate your own kind.
Yeah.
It makes you an anthropophage, which there's a difference.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
So off you two go. I take it you leave the bag behind of food, which is extra, Yeah. I think some of the sailors are like...
Well, we're not close enough to swim, right? We're going to have to take a boat.
No, there's a way to get out of the
cave. You can literally just walk there. It's all right.
Yeah,
we're just in our little sea cavern is all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't find us.
Because you were very,
it's really well hidden.
They're not a very well patrolled and blockaded port, so... that's what you get for being foreign power siding with the usurper.
Yes. As we walk, I'm just going to ask Duncan straight up, is there anything that you need me to do to pretend like I'm clergy? Or should I just nod and smile?
You're going to ask yourself...
Unfortunately, you said Duncan instead of Vesper. Yeah. Okay. Well, yes. The first thing you do is put this on. It's a... it is the set of white robes. Now, hold still while I take them in, since I believe their seams are a little too ample for you.
Yeah, they're kind of heavy on me, actually.
Now, remember, if anyone asks you a question, you defer to me. You say, repeat after me, This must be an ecumenical manner.
Sounds good. Thank you. This must be a ecumenical manner.
Yeah, there we go.
Off you go.
Takes
you about 15, 20 minutes. A little more than that to get to the to the outside. Now there's a change in shifts as the sun is going down. A different crowd starts showing up. Smaller this time, but
we're showing up with a nocturnal crowd because we're both nocturnal.
Yeah. And so the two fellows that you saw outside that were apparently armed, they're not there. Their others are there, and so they're
same kind of shady deal. They're little.
Yeah, these actually two raccoons this time around. They're raccoons.
Oh, perfect.
There were wolves before. Now they're raccoons. The crowd's a little smaller, but still there. And everybody, as you get closer, you can start doing your observation rolls.
Sounds like a plan.
And stealth because you're trying to blend in. But you have, I'm going to give you a D10, both of you, because you have a brother of the church, and you are pretending to be. You have a disguise. So
usually assist bonuses are D8s.
Yeah, but just a D8 then.
Am I assisting Vesper?
No, I'm rolling by myself, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got one success.
I got 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you want to burn a success and give me a D8, I won't turn that down.
Yeah, let's go even because I don't want just in case. I don't want you to.
I'd rather have them just let us in and without stopping us and having to give them a story. So we'll just go in.
As you're going in, again, you see the same thing. Tables are there. People are in line, queuing for the food. It's a little bit more grumbling this time around. But overall, people are still there. And there's the silos. You don't see a church. You see a small village that's attached basically to the shipyards, basically. In that most of the workers seem to be going in and out of there. And mostly they're bars and other places that serve sailors and workers. So it's getting raucous as you're here, as you're getting closer.
Well, I'm following Duncan. Duncan's taking us to where he saw the church and their stores.
Yeah, and I basically go near that area. Is there a line sign up as well for food again, or is it?
Yeah, there's a crowd. The crowds. There's a smaller crowd, but it's still queuing to get food. And what you see basically is that there's carts and there's silos, not nearby. They're visible because they're very large structures. But you see that they use carts to bring the food from the silos. There's no actual church. Instead, it's the clergy are there with the tables and maybe like something that covers not a tent. What do we call it? Like a stand, right?
Well, this makes no sense. The clergy have to go somewhere at night. So where did these people come from?
I told you it was suspicious.
Let's go talk to them.
Mm-hmm. About 5 of them.
Hail and well met, brothers and sisters.
Brother?
Yes, I am Lord Carabas, and this is my postulate Dunsany. We have come on a great pilgrimage to help you with the good works.
I am Presbyter Rigby. And my brothers and sisters are here, and they make you rattle some series of names. We're here helping to feed the poor. If you wish to join us in this great endeavor, please sign up. We have a list, and we can give you a time and place for you to do so.
I'm going to squint at them because I am not entirely, I want to see if I can see through their disguise. This would be a roll of mind and inquiry.
Okay.
I do not have the skill of inquiry, but I would like to flash back to when I was in the academy, meeting lots of people giving charity, because I can't think of any better use of a flashback than trying to remember how people acted when I was growing up in church.
What was the first act of charity you joined?
No successes! Hopefully Duncan here actually has inquiry. Tell me that you have inquiry. Nope. Well, you've just got a mind, guy.
Are you sure?
I mean, maybe I get a bonus D12 because I'm actually ordained, but that's up to the GM.
I mean, you want to figure it out whether they're ordained. Yeah, you can go ahead, throw in the D12.
I mean, I just want to figure out if they're legit or not.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one success. Can they fool me? Are they disguised well enough to fool me?
They seem to be legit, but they seem to be minor, clergy, right? They're not. None of them seem to be.
I mean, I'm fond of pointing out the double lie problem. If you lie to someone and that someone believes you, then that person wanders around, believing everything to be sincere.
Yeah, these seems to be minor clergy, very low in the totem. In fact, when you
who among you is the leader?
That would be a brother Lyrium. Brother Lyrium, there's a brother here to speak with you. And you see a very large white rat. He's fat and old. And he's sort of getting out of his creaky chair. It's like, I'll be going right there. It's the moment. And he sort of waddles over.
It looks like clergy to me.
Sorry. I wish we had some wine. My throat is parched. Brother, how may I be of service this fine night?
Well, we're here to serve you. We're pilgrims here on our great mission throughout the world, and we see that there's people in need. So there's a curious sight that we see here that, we see no church and no hospital and no scriptorium and no other good works. We just see people handing out food.
Well, we are volunteers from the Chapel of Good Graces. They are, and he points generally slightly inland, and some of these are our flock, and some others are coming from local forts and villages to get their daily rations. Sadly, the pagans have convinced these people that that the land has suffered because of some claptrap about kings and whatnot. It's simply bad luck, and perhaps even the fact that they have believed in the wrong things for so long. I do not blame them, for their minds are empty as their bellies, but we shall feed them with both blessings of the spirit and the flesh, and their minds and bodies will become one in the true belief of the church, brother.
I would just like to point out Duncan is gritting his teeth at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, I'm good at giving blank looks. I'm an old hand of the church.
Yeah.
Well, it is good that we volunteered for the works, but do you think it's wise for us, members of the cloth, and thus of the greater good, should be involved in what apparently is some sort of military conflict?
We are offering succor to those who suffer, especially in times of war and need. When the greed of men takes over their hearts, it is our job to enlighten the pilgrim and the victim and the peasant, for theirs is the true spirit that leads them to the great beyond.
Oh, I don't see any hospital here or anyone sermonizing. Yeah, how are you helping spread the greater good?
But acolytes here are you boys really are giving the word as you feed them, are you not? And they go like, yes, we are. And you see that basically every time they, like they happened with when they give food to Duncan earlier, they hand and they basically say a prayer and a blessing, kind of by rote.
You call that a prayer? You call that blessing? I call upon you have yellow bellies and liver cancerous hearts that you lack the passion for your work. I have been past all four corners of this earth, and I have never seen a lot that lacking in faith and heart more than those presented before me today. Fie upon you and your hollow deeds and craven words.
When you say all that, some of the people that are waiting in line, they kind of turn to each other like, wow. They're failing. All right. I think he said that they're failing at their duties. Maybe they have more food for us. Maybe they can give us more food. That's the thing that they're holding out on us. Like, shut up, no, we aren't gonna get anything. And you start having people start talking about each other, right? It's like, it's like, no, shut up. It's like, and you see the two fellas are in the back. They're kind of standing back a little further, but they Kunkin, that they had locked eyes on your situation. They're getting back just enough that if something happens, they can run, but they're also close enough that they have to act. Right.
They have their escape routes ready. Yeah, good Dunsany. I have fire, but for this speech, I'll also be needing brimstone.
Oh, do you want me to speak?
No, I need you to get down on all fours so I can stand on top of you. My countrymen!
Okay, I will use my back strength to hold your legs up or something like that. I don't know. Is this a body?
You are not near, what you are beholden to now are the worldly desires of false kings and foul temptresses. All of that is here belongs to all of the people. And we should not be sitting there scrabbling at mere crumbs while those would stand next to you and tell you.
While Vesper's on my shoulders, I'm watching the guys in the back.
Yep. I'm just gonna go ahead and wow, I wasn't supposed to do this, but darn it, I'm here now.
Brother, please. And he starts sweating. You can see his fur is getting matted as his whiskers are going. Like, brother, please. I understand your fiery devotion to the great endeavor that you are upon, but these people need to be fed, and
these people need hope. These people need strength. These people
we are doing our best, are we not? And in terms of the people, it's like, I'm not being fed.
As you sit there on your boil-ridden arses and watch them come here with their heads hung low? This is your best? This is not even 1/8 of what you are capable of. I talk not to you, not to those who would bring out chains and collars and yokes, but to the people. Rise up, good people! Overthrow the bad people! You have nothing to lose but your hunger.
I just shout, yeah!
Yeah!
Roll for me.
Shall I make a sermonizing roll?
Yes, with a will. Good double will.
Well, fortunately, my favorite thing to do is sermonizing.
Yeah, at least you get to re-roll that. You want to throw your personality in there, too?
I have to. I know what it's like to. Now, obviously, I am one who cannot sit there and abide anyone going hungry, least of all myself. I have to throw my personality in there. That's the kind of person I am. Two successes.
You see the crowd has been agitated, but there's some people start shouting like, "Oh, shut it already! We're just hungry. Just give us that food already." Brother Lantern, shut this man off, right? And you see that there's several guards are coming from the shipyards, probably nearby, and they're coming your way. About 4 of them. They seem to be more curious about what's going on rather than being aggressive, but they are armed and male and have swords, and they're coming your way.
So much for this rabble. If 2 successes is not enough to start a riot, then that's not going to work. Well, I know when I'm beat. I guess it's time to leg it.
Yeah, they are hungry though, and then they steered, right? They are arguing among each other and stuff like that. But
where's Spencer when you need him to start a riot? I guess we need to get the hell out of here.
See, I don't have any bluff, or else I'd join you in the postulizing.
I appreciate that. No, but in your heart, but what you do have is stealth, which we're going to need to get the hell out of here.
Let me see. He's distracted, so.
Fortunately, this isn't a walled-off compound or a proper. It's just a line. So running sideways and milling it with the crowd shouldn't be that difficult.
We're kind of just being ushered away and now in the middle of everybody and all that stuff.
We're running away. When you said guards are coming, I'm running.
As you're saying that, you look, see the guard. You see that brother Lantern turns around and is like, oh no, now we have to deal with it. Brother, could you please indulge me in a moment of silence while I deal with this rabble? And he sort of waddles over to where the guards are coming, and he says, yes, and they start. They start talking.
I gotta add to that. We said, "Most you won't even know we're here." And as soon as he turns around, we're leaving.
You're leaving, okay? And he's just talking to them. They're asking questions like, "Oh no, because you don't know why he did that, but apparently he did shield you. Apparently he didn't want the trouble or the involvement of the guards for some reason."
They're being pressed into this, I think, and I whisper that to Vesper.
Okay. That's gonna be your post roll if you want to make your stealth for a group of people.
Well, dear. We're caught.
Not necessarily.
I can't beat that.
Oh.
I mean, I have 2 dice to roll, and I only have a 5, and I'm rolling a 6 and a 4. I can't beat an opposed roll.
Suppose if Duncan rolls well enough and throws away a die to help you, you might possibly roll an 8.
They have 3 successes. I only have 1.
Yeah.
Should I even bother to roll or no?
You can either roll your stealth, or it will be whether or not you actually notice that you have been noticed.
Yeah, they might also give chase, in which case we can start running away. This is gonna be funny.
That's one way of putting it. So speed and stealth then.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, can't wait to see Vesper roll body endurance to run. Show me that D4.
Still not enough.
Yeah. Well, we're going to run away. I assume they're going to give chase.
Are you just going to run a flat-out run?
Well, we try to sneak away. We didn't beat their roll, so I assume that when we try to sneak away, they say stop, or they come after us. I mean, do they do either of those, or do we just slink away and get away no problem?
You appear to
doing this to us right now.
Well, that's you have to make an observation roll to do that.
I will do that then, real quick. I got 1 for that.
It's that's not the guards. Brother Lantern has apparently hold them off, and they're having a discussion. So nobody actually shot for you to stop. So you seem to get away.
All right.
Appear to get away.
Well, I rely on Duncan to know if we're being followed or not. You rolled 1 success.
That's actually a good question. Can I put my shadowing into that to see if we're being followed?
Shadowing is an extra D12 to know if you're being followed. That's specifically what that is.
Was that a yes? I'm sorry.
Yes.
That is a 12, so 2 successes.
Yeah, it's good enough to know that in fact you're being followed. One of the raccoons that was in the back of the line, he's following you at a respectful distance.
Well, Duncan, we can't go back to the ship because we just lead them into an ambush. We've got to go somewhere else.
Right. So let me ask you something. When priests are on the road, when brothers are on the road, do they just camp out or they go to inns?
We can try to invoke hospitality. We do kind of have the problem that we're in the Isles, which doesn't necessarily recognize the Church of Sumer. So if we showed up and said, "Hi, I worship religion you don't believe in," a bunch of locals will probably just stare at us. So we might just have to find some shelter or something like that. But I'm guessing you're just going to go ahead and lead us inland or somewhere else to just some weirdo spot. They might eventually get bored. Of course, when I say might eventually get bored, we might be rolling some endurance dice.
So this is what I would like to do then. I would suggest if we would maybe find a little hill or an area where I guess we could get the drop on the people following us. If that's at all possible.
Yeah, you could try to find a piece of terrain that might hide you. Not very well, because this is usually open country here near the coast, but you can find.
But basically, it's the equivalent of waiting around the corner is what he wants to do, I think, right?
Pretty much. What would I need to do to find that terrain, I guess, would be the question.
Observation.
All right. That's the only thing I have, because I don't have any, like, hiking or anything like that. Would this be mind and observation?
Yes.
All right. Observation, just double checking if I can do anything else. No, nothing else will get in there. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. All looks the same to me.
Well, I will attempt, if you want me to be bait while they sneak up on me, I would be more than happy to, like, find a rock and start an elaborate prayer ritual where I sermonize to no one.
I think that's a good idea, sir. And just in case I...
Also, shadowing is a D12 bonus to sneak up on other people, too.
That's good to know.
So I'll just go ahead and sermonize to no one. So if the GM says that's good enough for a D8 assist bonus, as I stop and do an elaborate, the skies and the heavens, fortify me against all the sin that is around me in this world.
This is a bonus to sneak behind, or a bonus to find terrain to turn the corner.
You're probably gonna have to do the you already missed the terrain, so you're trying to do the sneak.
Because I remove my own belt and flagellate myself in a display that looks weird.
And I will be attempting shadowing here to try and get behind these folk. The folk that is following us. That's a little better. That's 2 successes. I actually... No, I'm not going to use it for that. Never mind.
Yeah, you beat him.
Okay.
And essentially, Vesper goes in top of a hillock and starts sermonizing to the stars. And you see one of the raccoons sort of cautiously approach him.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of look at him, and he's looking around with a bemused look on his face, like waiting. He's waiting. He's not so much paying attention to, like, he's waiting for what's going to happen next. Well, he seems to be alone. So either
he would be the one I would sneak up behind, and I have the pistol cocked and pointed to his temple.
It's a real lock. You have the pistol wound up.
Pardon me. I have the pistol wound up and pointed to his temple.
Do you press it against the back of his head, or do you...
Oh, yes. I want to make him aware that I know he's there, and I whisper to him, why are you following us?
Just making sure that everything is all right. Would not want members of the clergy to be preyed upon or assaulted. These are dark days, brother.
What's going on? Why are you following us? Please don't lie to me, sir.
I'm making sure that everything is according to plan. There is no plan.
But I'll stop shamming, and I'm going to look around to see if he had a friend or anything like that, because these guys are skilled. I don't like this.
Yeah.
That way, I guess, would be mind and observation. So what terrain are we in?
You are in plains.
Oh, yeah, he's fine. He's totally alone.
Yeah. Now, we so kind as to you can still keep your pistol, sir. And he has weapons like a billy club and a knife, but
I'll take those. He's dressed like a soldier? Is he flying colors?
Nope, he's just left civilian. Actually,
one of the shady thugs that I saw before.
Like a worker. He's dressed like a worker, basically.
I lower the
you're
pistol
part of a spy network.
Yes, I lower the pistol. I say, "Who do you work for? I would like to make contact with you, gentlemen."
We are members of a. Well, I'm not a member or anything. We're just more like people who like to share ideas with our brothers and sisters in plenty. We find ourselves, like I said, that there's a lack of food and resources for our people. The church seems to be helping out, and we didn't want anything to interfere with that. Seeing that my people might go hungry. But
what sort of brotherhood do you belong to that has no colors or symbols or sigils?
we are
Vesper, I'm actually familiar with this brotherhood.
we are a family of interest, and family recognizes each other.
Family? A Cosa Nostra?
I say to Vesper, if I'm assuming based off his language, he's talking about something known as the Society of the Plenty.
Society.
You heard it of us before, yes.
I don't think I've ever heard of these guys before.
I've worked with them before.
Oh, so you're criminal.
Well,
it's not necessarily like that. Don't worry though, Vesper.
Brother,
it's not necessarily like that. Sure, you just steal and murder.
Brother, you have wounded me. Not as much as it's your fellow were to pull the trigger. That would be certainly a bigger wound.
No damage I have done to you that you've not already done to yourself.
I do not understand a word that came out of your mouth, sir, but that's fine.
Look, all right, so I'm going to turn to Duncan and say, so Society of the Plenty, who are they sided with? Are they royalist or rebellious?
They're for the people and their own interests. At least that's the impression I usually get from them.
Well, if they're for the people, I say, once again, pointedly ignoring this guy that's here, if the side of the plenty is for the people, then they can see that no good can come out of the foreign powers, out of the usurper selling himself so strongly to foreign powers who will exert their influence and rob this land of its autonomy and liberty.
I look at the raccoon and I ask, what's your name and who's in charge with who is the ranking member of the society on this island, and are they around?
Oh, I do not know those things, sir. They call me Moleskin, sir.
Mr. Moleskin, that's interesting because you're a raccoon, not a mole. Mr. Moleskin,
he smiles.
He means that he's got exactly Avogadro's number of molecules in his body.
Exactly. I say, Mr. Moleskin, would you be willing to take a walk with us for the time being?
What?
I do have to return to my fellows, my brothers and sisters away from me.
Well, then I would like to, at the very least, compensate you for your time, and I want to set up a meeting if possible.
Well, here's what I propose.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little shop of curiosities near the port. It's not doing very much business these days. So people who actually are in the know, they tend to go the back of the store and knock a couple of times in the back door.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to go there, say about noonish, and knock, I'm sure somebody will be there waiting. We wanted to know about what your exact needs are.
Well, we need to help you convince any superiors of the weight of our words. I will go ahead and give this to you. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp a piece of paper with my signet ring, which identifies me as an ordained priest of Salmer.
He takes it.
So take this to them as a symbol of the of higher authority, because I've been canonized by the local Salmer church. So yeah, just to convince them that we're not random people. Because I'm gonna look at Duncan. Honestly, we don't have anything with Lord Gregory's seal on it, do we?
No. I gave you a letter at some point.
Yeah, you were.
I don't have that letter. I think.
Okay, well, if he did give me a letter, I'll take out that letter. I'll tear his seal off of it, and I'll give him that too.
Okay.
These are who we serve. If you show this to your master, and only your masters in the plenty, you will know that we are people of means and authority, and we are here to save the land from those who would savage it for their own cruel and worldly desires.
I'm sure my uncles and my auntie would be very glad to hear about this. It'll make for a very entertaining reading. But if, as I was saying, if you wish to talk to someone about your particular needs, such as perhaps finding alternatives to the current situation, I offer you the services of the small shop.
Well, thank you. I actually am in the mood for seeing curiosities at noon tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Now, may I go?
Oh, yes. I apologize, by the way, for the threat before. Formalities when you feel like you're being followed. You understand.
No worries. We of the night know that for some, the night is full of terrors. Let's be careful these days. So may the blessings follow you wherever. I'm not a Richard, so.
Peace to men of goodwill.
That too. Yes.
It's an ecumenical matter or something like that, I believe.
If you say so.
I just wanted to say it once.
He walks away. He doesn't waddle. He doesn't run. He just walks calmly into the darkness, right? He's just someone who's comfortable in the dark as a nocturnal creature. And
I'm not sure. Yeah, well, you know these people, huh?
I don't know these people. I know of the organization. Let's put it this way. They're... How can I explain this the best?
They're a fifth column.
I wouldn't... yeah, actually, that works. All right, let's go. We'll go with that.
Right now, the royalists, I mean, even though we're backing the true king, rolling my eyes here, the fact is this land has been falling apart due to lack of asserted authority and the rule of law, and good, basically it's been falling apart for a while now. So naturally people would rise up because brotherhood is a universal emotion among the commoners. So the idea that these people would rise up and form their own secret little organization to help deal with it is completely understood. And so I guess they saw us show up and agitate and wanted to know what we were on about. So now we've identified basically that we're here. If they are indeed, as you describe, a clandestine organization of people, they may conceivably help us oust the occupying forces.
I think it's going to be more subtle than that. I think they can help us sabotage the forces.
Well, that's our primary goal, is to sabotage the shipyards.
Yes.
I
suppose we need to return to Lord Gregory and report what we have seen.
I think that's a wise idea.
And the scene cuts, and you're back over at the cave.
Boy, I sure hope my comrades made quiet contact and a convincing argument to the clergy and have them on our side now. Oh, hey, everyone. How's it going?
Well, we almost started a riot.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir, if my rhetoric was stronger, and perhaps if I, could have made lightning rain down from the sky or something like that, I would have been successful.
I'll have to work on my lightning magic for you. Well, it is unfortunate, but probably better that the riot didn't happen until we were ready. So you're saying that we have people we can meet?
Well, Duncan here has identified a fifth column of commoners in a secret society known as the Society of the Plenty, who may ally themselves with a cause of sabotage against the foreign powers. Of course, it could also be a trap.
It could also be a trap because, so you told them who we are to an unknown criminal organization that could easily sell us out.
I did no such thing.
Oh, well, all right.
I identified myself as an agent of Lord Gregory.
Well, we'll see how it turns out.
I mean, they only know us.
Yes, I should actually point out and try and calm you, Lord Gregory, here a little bit. Look, the Society of the Plenty is not just on this isle; it's on all the isles. They're a group that I've used before in contacts. They're pretty trustworthy to a fault. You just have to come correct, if that makes any sense.
I don't know if I've met these guys or not.
I believe I understand what you mean, though what a strange organization. So, now the question is, do I send the two of you back together to speak for me, or do you think I should go and speak with them directly and see what we can organize? Do we want to shift our location to them? with
in
risk.
truth, this is something that may require you to come and speak to them directly, but you can't go the way you are.
This is true. I'm hardly dressed for the occasion. I don't have nearly enough roses on my chest, or I haven't washed this set of clothing for a while. I could dress down to just my elementalist robes, but that would probably still draw attention.
You don't want to go in there dressed like a wizard.
Definitely not.
I
can't dress as a noble. I can't dress as a wizard, and I'm not going to wear armor.
With Harmon by our side, I dare say that we could fight our way out of any opposition. The question would be if we could actually successfully sneak you in. And I think with some subterfuge, I would think that it would be best as a show of your seriousness as an agent of the true king, that you would go ahead and parlay with the Fifth Gum. This is assuming that they haven't sold us out. We have the authority here of Duncan that they would not.
Well, given that our mission is already a huge risk of which we have very little chance of succeeding alive, I think the risk is definitely worth it, because then at least we're a little closer to our objective. So what I think I will do is I will keep my wand in my pocket, I will pack up my robes into a bag, and I will take only those with me in case of danger, specifically so that I can have my trappings. But Felix, you have some extra uniforms for our sailors that are just normal ragtag clothing. I'll wear some of those so that I appear conspicuous, and that should probably be enough. Now, what will we do with Harmon?
Oh, well, if we wanted to continue with the religious metaphor, we could. Harmon's already half stigmatic as it is.
Perfect. Well then, so I will allow you to take the lead on that.
Wait, it's not convincing. Harmon, I'll need you to take 40 lashes across your back. I'll have to administer them myself. So
I love how Harmon is literally rolling his eyes right now on camera.
Is it not a good plan, is it?
No, I think it's convincing enough. And honestly, I'm not even sure if we want to go back in the religious disguise because we might be found. But
yeah, I'm not sure you could remove the armor anyway. I think it's attached to him at this point. He's like a tortoise, you see.
We got a really good look at the people who were there and how they look desperate. All we have to do is go ahead and look desperate. The only issue would be that Harmon can't go in full battle array. He doesn't look desperate if he's in full battle array. Either we would have to disguise him or conceal him.
Harmon, where were you wounded last time?
I don't think it was said.
Well, let's pick a spot and just make sure that's exposed.
It was mostly longsword wounds, I think.
Yeah, so you got maybe wraps across your chest or something?
Yeah, I probably got stabbed under a rib or something.
Okay. Is there any chance that you could leave your armor behind?
No.
Harmon will not part with his equipment whatsoever, so that part is non-negotiable. The disguising him as a paladin was a great idea because it works with us.
The only disguise I would be willing to wear would be to put robes on over top of my armor, which would not hide them all that well.
Vesper, do you have a spare set of priestly robes with you?
He does. I was wearing them. I'm wearing them still. Here, take them.
Okay. Well, you could just be a tag-along. We have the robes over top the armor to attempt to disguise Harmon to some degree. I will appear lowly, as... of course, I will have to try my best. I've never been low in my life, but I think I can pull it off.
If you like, I can give you pointers, sir.
I'll gladly take them. But I think we have a bit of a plan. As long as you two, Vesper and Duncan, take the lead and make sure that you push attention away from us, I think we have this.
I think by myself and Duncan, what you really mean is Duncan, because I don't have... I'm not very
You're there to be convincing. Don't worry at all. All you have to do is be yourself, Vesper, and I know you can do that. I even brought extra wine to make it so.
Oh, well, wine makes everything better.
Here, I've already drunk half of it. Here's yours.
Well, you're already halfway there as a peasant if you're drunk.
Peasants aren't drunk. Peasants are desperate.